12:04. I'm going to start this meeting for February 16th, 2021. And we'll start with Kim Patero. Any zone information?
No, we're pretty good right now. The snow kind of slowed things down. We've had to deliver some packages for new members, some of the clubs in Zone G1.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's going pretty good.
All right.
Hey, Cindy, are you recording this?
No, I'm not, but Dwayne is.
Oh, okay.
Dwayne's on.
Okay, any happy or sad bucks? Isla?
I just celebrated on Valentine's Day my 22nd wedding anniversary.
All right.
Your husband a doctor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not medical, though.
Oh.
All right.
But
Kevin's always asking me.
he's a science guy, though.
Hey, any other happy or sad bucks? Anybody?
I got some.
Okay, Marilyn, and then we'll go Gina.
Speaking of weather, I thought I would share. I don't know if this is a happy buck. The happy part is that I just called Lion Keith Huff, who some of you know, and a few of you newer Lions don't. But Keith moved here or away from here a few years ago, and they live in Texas. So to be concerned about the lack of power and temperatures and whatnot are nothing compared to 4 degrees this morning at 10:30 at his house. So, but they're well prepared, so they're doing fine with that. But it was just fun to talk with Steve. Steve had a chance to say hello as well. He said they were hit with 2 storms. So not just one bad one, but 2.
This looks like I sent a package to my niece of orange rolls and cookies and stuff to North Dakota, and she got them on Thursday, and she says, "Oh, this is going to be so nice. I'm going to, do an orange roll, put it in the microwave for a few seconds, and have a nice warm orange roll at 40 below."
Yeah.
Wow. They were getting really cold weather last week, so.
Yeah. And the happy buck with our family embracing the weather and what happened to us, our kids love to camp out. So our daughter-in-law thought this was just great fun. We, Saturday morning, decided that we needed coffee, and so we pulled out a camp stove, with the propane, set it up in our garage. We have a kettle, what is that thing called? The grill, propane grill.
Oh.
So we were able to cook on our grill and our camp stove. I had a old-fashioned, I suppose you call it cowboy coffee with the percolator.
Marilyn.
We were like, yay, coffee. And the kids made snowman, and we opened up our portable, what's the fire pit? We had a fire pit, so we found pieces of wood in the garage that we didn't really need. It really reminded my heart about all the people who do live outdoors every day of their lives and how they try to keep warm. It's kind of a heartthrob to think that we're fortunate to have all these things.
Yeah.
And the family stuck together, and that was a good part of it too.
All right. So, Gina?
I'm kind of jealous. We didn't lose power. We continued with our electricity, but we did have the family over, and we did have play in the snow with our grandkids. Our granddaughter, who we haven't got to spend a lot of time with lately because of COVID, but we got to be out in the yard and have the snowball fights and play in the snow, and that was awesome. But I'm kind of got a sad dollar. My little Leo Justice turns 18 tomorrow. And, it makes me sad because she's not a little girl anymore. She thinks she's an adult, but I'm going to take her into town for her tattoo. She wants a tattoo, and she designed this herself. And that does my heart good too, because it's a couple of doves with my parents' birth and death dates on there. She was really close to my parents, which would be her great grandparents. And she's excited about this tattoo, and Papa made her wait till she was 18. So on her birthday, she's getting this tattoo. And she gets it on the back of her shoulder, so she's not doing anything really crazy. But yeah, you know, they're growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Our little man, he was a little bit hesitant in the snow. He's just, he's not even 2 yet, but boy, he got out there and he got really familiar really fast. So we had a good time. Came in, had hot chocolate, and then the kids made Valentine cookies. So yeah, it was a great family Valentine's, and so yeah, I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Any other happy or sad bucks? Doug.
I got a happy buck. I mean, I'm 75 years old. I've been running a business for 46 years, and I've never had a happy buck on a snow day before. This is the first time I can remember.
Because he turned 60.
We saw the snow coming. We loaded up our refrigerator, made sure our power was going to stay on, and actually sat back and enjoyed it. What a difference. All the past years I've happened to keep people driving cars around through all this stuff. It's really been an experience, and so it was really kind of nice to sit back and just watch the white stuff come down.
Oh.
So we're really happy about that.
All right. Okay, Steve Johnston.
Well, gotta be black. I don't know how, there's a few people familiar with my driveway.
What?
How it comes off the county road and down in our driveway. It's a perfect sledding driveway, so all the grandkids and great grandkids were up here sledding and having a ball.
Oh, all right.
We only lost our electricity for a couple hours.
Okay. Anybody else? Any happy or sad? Phil?
I have a couple of happy dollars. One was that yesterday I was scheduled for my second COVID vaccine at the VA, and of course that didn't happen. And I expected to have a lot of trouble rescheduling, but I called this morning, and even though when I called I was number 40 in line, I got rescheduled fairly easily.
Right.
The other happy dollar is that if you see me getting out of my low-slung Mazda, it was kind of painful and actually tweaked my shoulder pretty badly a couple weeks ago. So now I have a different car which has a seat that's just about the right height for me to just slide in and out of.
All right. All right. Marilyn?
Oh, I just wanted to sass back at Steve Johnston. If you've been to his house, I don't think I'd want to sled down that driveway, but I thought maybe if you just opened your front door, the kids could just slide right in, right?
They slide right past the house between the two garages and right out by the backyard.
Okay.
They come all the way from the top of the hill, the driveway. They get moving.
Hey, Donna?
I have a happy buck because we came down Tenant Way and we passed Hal. We didn't know it was Hal at the time. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror and he's going all the way across the middle line and all the way back to the side and back in. We think he's eating with both hands.
That's how.
And on the phone.
That's how.
And texting with his knees.
Yeah, that's right.
Lloyd?
I've got a unhappy dollar. We were called yesterday to take our vaccine. All snowed in, couldn't get out, had to cancel.
Oh, but did they re-cancel for you?
Oh no,
Oh,
of course not.
hey, that's too bad. Okay, Hal?
Madam President, fellow Lions and guests, thank you, Donna, for the update. Which car was I in? Was it blue or was it beige?
The station wagon, the one with all the dents.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, then here's my happy buck. That is now on the market for sale for any of you that would like it.
It will both great.
Because Steve Hull sold me a new to me 2013 Explorer, which I got to tell you, I was going to use it on that first day of snow, and my wife said no. So I used it on Monday, and it saved the day with this 4-wheel drive.
Nice.
So Steve Holst should be on here with a happy buck, but you know him.
Right. Any more happy or sad bucks? Right. Phil?
I just have a question for Hal. How much are you paying for somebody to take that car away?
Yeah. Hey, Phil, it has a seat that you can really slide right in on.
Oh, that's good. How much will you pay?
Yeah.
All right. All
Hey,
right.
it's only got 268,000 miles on it. What's your point? And I would say 200,000 of those are Lions miles.
Well, okay, Gina, do you need an awards meeting at the end today? Okay, so there'll be an awards meeting at the end, and Steve Patterson induction is next Tuesday, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, so we're gonna do inducting and awards on this week. So, all right,
I need to ask Tom a question if I could.
Okay.
Real quick. Tom, you sponsored your sisters.
Yes.
Will you be able to have them available for induction?
Sure.
Do you have any candles? As part of our ceremony?
I'll have candles by then.
Okay.
I have candles.
Okay. All right, Greg?
Sunrise report. Sunshine.
Sunrise.
Okay.
Kim Botero and I both got calls from Bob Heidemann this morning. Bob has been diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. And he's chosen not to take any treatments. Treatments would give him about 6 months. The doctors have told him 2 weeks to 2 months.
Oh, that's too bad.
And Bob does not really want any phone calls.
Okay.
Bad news.
Yeah.
Bob is a great guy.
Yep. It's too bad. All right. Any other sunshine report on anybody? All right. If not, Marilyn, I will turn the meeting over to you so you can introduce Kurt.
Okay. Guess I'm on. So I had the pleasure of finding out about Kurt through our daughter, who works at the same location that Kurt does currently, and that's ALS Environmental in Kelso. And Stephanie recommended that Kurt come and speak to us and share his, your dreams, actually, and his future business that he has. Kurt has lived in Longview for the past 5 years, where he is the Quality Assurance Manager for ALS Environmental Laboratory. He and his wife are originally from Nevada, with a brief 4-year stay in Alaska. He's a father of 3 boys, and that's a challenge, 8, 5, and 3. His oldest is 2nd grade at CVG. His 5-year-old attends Broadway Elementary, and his 3-year-old rules the roost, or at least he believes he does. And we all know that 3-year-olds think they are independent, and nobody can tell them. In his spare time, he's working on his PhD in business management with a focus on leadership and organizational change. He enjoys calling the Pacific Northwest home, and he's found a good community to raise a family while exploring the great outdoors. And I would just also let you know that he is the founder of his consulting business called Trust Fall Consulting. And he's here today to share information about a book that he wrote regarding business practices called I Quit. Please welcome Kurt to us today. Thank you, Kurt, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, hello, good afternoon, and glad to have you. Glad that I'm here with you guys. And I'm going to share my screen and give you a little presentation here about a topic that I really like, that I really find enjoying. And let me start this here and get this going. So, all right. So my name's Kurt, in the introduction here. So I'm working on a PhD in business management with a focus on leadership and organizational change. Right now I'm in my dissertation stage where I'm exploring the interactions and influences that impact frontline employees, basically employees that interact directly with customers and how they experience from service recovery processes, basically, the demands of clients versus the demands of an organization and how that impacts them and their engagement levels within their job and how they help recover from service failures. So after this, I wanted to ask if I could get a copy of the recording of this after the meeting. And then, and so if you want to contact me or connect with me, I have a LinkedIn site. Just search for my name, Kurt Clarkson, the link there, and then, or you can visit my website, trustfallconsulting.com, and it's got all the connectivity there. I
just so you know, I need to leave. So Dwayne, can you take care of that for him? One of us will get, Dwayne's away from the camera. Sorry about that, Kurt, but I need to take off. I'm recording it, so.
Dwayne sends it out on the KTV TV or KU Sun channel. Anyway, he'll give you a copy.
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
Can everyone hear me okay on speaking? Cool, thank you. So in my spare time, this past year, I decided to write just a short story to kind of put all the topics that I find interesting into a story, into a business parable, and it's about the cost of a psychologically unsafe workplace. It follows a couple of characters in an organization on how they interact and deal with different topics, including, mainly it's about good employees quitting. And they're trying to find out why these good employees are quitting. And there's different types of ways good employees can quit. They can become silent and not participate. They can flat out say, I'm done, or they can reluctantly look for another job. And so it's really kind of a look of why this is happening. So other topics that are discussed are the psychological safety and employee engagement. So with this presentation, I really wanted to share something that got me interested into all the studies and everything else, and that is a simple of what is employee engagement. And so I'll connect with that, and I'll tie it back to the book in a few minutes from now. So employee engagement, what is that? There's a lot of different kind of definitions out there. And the consensus really, it's a level of enthusiasm that an employee has for their work. It's how much they want to do their work or go above and beyond their tasks that they've been asked. It's the level of commitment that an employee has towards the core values and mission of their company that they work for. How much they buy into, what they're doing, what the company is doing, that alignment there. And then last, it's the level of motivation that they have to helping other people, helping other employees, and helping the organization have success. It's how much they want to go out and help. And, somebody, employee has a project that they're working on. Are they able to help out with them more, or do they want to? And so with employee engagement, there's three primary levels of engagement. And so it's kind of broken down into three sections. One is the complete engaged employee. This is all kind of like a spectrum of employee engagement, and there's people that are going to fall into all sorts of categories. And it also kind of goes into, you can kind of go in between each category too a little bit. But you have the employees that are engaged. They're, basically the cheerleaders. They're the people that are very outspoken, happy, promoting the company. They are the idea generators. They want to help solve problems, not just their own, but other people's. They're committed to the company, and they have a real great passion of what they're doing, and they're really motivated to get their work done and help and to achieve success. And then there's kind of the category that people that just aren't fully engaged in the work, and they're kind of going through the motions, just kind of doing enough. It's a paycheck, it's a job. Almost on the verge of apathetic, like kind of however things go, it happens. It's out of their control, kind of deal like that. They're they can also remain silent. If they see something happening, or a problem, they might just kind of let it pass, because they're just focused on their job to get it done, and they can do a good job doing that. And that's just kind of like that category of not engaged. And then you have the actively disengaged level. And these are people that are just outwardly negative. They're almost toxic. They're unhappy. They're going to express that. They're even going to go like as far as undermining an organization or be kind of antagonistic and in ways of customer service. They can do things that will drive away customers. And so this is all levels of employee engagement. People can go throughout, different aspects throughout the different levels. I wouldn't really see that someone that's actively disengaged and looking to drive away their customers one day wants to be passionate the next, but it could go, a little bit of wavering. But really that comes down to like, how does that impact a company? How does that impact an organization? And how it's linked to employee engagement there's a lot of direct connections there. So levels of employee engagement, they impact customer ratings. When engagement levels are higher in employees, the customer reviews can be higher because the service is better. When it's lower engagement, you can get a little bit, worse reviews. Profitability is also connected. And we'll talk a little bit later on this. Productivity as well. Somebody that's engaged is going to be motivated to conduct, get more work done or to help out, and so forth. The turnover aspect is also, it's negatively related. So as employee engagement increases in their job, and people are less likely to want to move away from that company. And that's where a lot of costs come into play in companies, is when turnover is happening. Other areas are safety. Safety increases as engagement levels increase. The reason is mainly, people are looking out for each other more, and they're willing to say a little bit better, problems that come up. Another aspect is theft, employee, loss. And when engagement is down, when you have actively disengaged employees, a lot of them, they can, theft is more likely to rise on that. Same with absenteeism. Higher engaged employees are more likely to be at work, to be there, to be present, and less likely to call off when they're, unless they really are under the weather. And the last is quality assurance or quality defect. Quality of the product increases with engaged employees. Not engaged employees, disengaged. The quality that they're more likely to just pass through defects within a system. So the interesting thing about this is, as a customer or as working within a company, you can observe employee engagement and different levels of employee engagement that somebody has. You might just see a snapshot of where they're at that moment in time, but just wanted to share a kind of example with you of how I see employee engagement, and you can check it out, wherever your interactions are. So a few years ago, I was up in Alaska taking care of my father-in-law's estate. I had to winterize his house. Winter was coming, and I had to get all the water out of the pipes. I didn't have all my tools with me, So I had to go to the hardware store, to get an adapter for an air compressor hose to hook onto a water faucet and to blow out all the water so it didn't freeze the pipes. And so I went to a local hardware store that was a chain within the state. And I had known them from previously living there, and I figured, okay, if these guys have it, they're going to help me out. So I went to the store and started trying to look and piece it together. After a few minutes, I got frustrated. I couldn't find the adapters that I wanted, and I saw somebody walking by, and I just asked them for help. And these are kind of like what I want to run through is, at the hardware store, it was unfamiliar, all the areas, so I wanted to ask somebody for help and just play out 3 different responses when you just ask them, I'm looking for this connector, I have this problem, what can you help me with? And the guy that I saw, it seemed a little bit in a hurry or frantic. He just kind of walked by me, and I know I was kind of in a hurry, frantic, because I only had a few days up there to get it done. So I asked him, and a not engaged employee, if you think what the answer could be, maybe if we have it, it's going to be on aisle 5, and then it probably would just end up walking away. And my response to that would be, thank you, and probably go look on aisle 5 for the item. And as he said, if they have it at all, it'd be on aisle 5. So I look at aisle 5 and don't see the adapter I'm looking for, and most likely head out the store and go to the box store that's just down the road to look. Actively disengage some person, a guy that's outwardly negative or unhappy with the company he's working for, probably would have a little bit different response and say, there's no way we carry something like that. Your best bet is just to go to the box store down the road. And in that little interaction there as a customer, I would say, thank you for your honesty. And I would just walk straight out the door. However, this gentleman I ran across, he responded a completely different way. He said, we don't have anything like this as a packet, but I can put something together for you. And we proceeded for the next 10 minutes to run around the store, many different aisles. And the end result was this little adapter here that I still have. And I thought that was such a neat experience. I mean, it only cost like $12. It wasn't that big of, it wasn't a big money spender or anything else. But the fact was, this guy that I interacted with, he took the time, he was engaged, he was asking me about the project that I had going, and he put these 3 different adapters that I wasn't really putting together in that store. And I still have it today too. So these are just kind of 3 little things of different interactions that you can see and observe, of somebody within a store of how their engagement levels are at that time. And so really, how does this still impact organizations? So there must be, how are people engaged in their work? The Gallup puts out this poll almost every year, and it's called the State of American Workplace. And this is about finding out the levels of engagement of the American workplace, of all the employees through there. And it's been pretty consistent over the past decade and a half on their findings. They found overall about 33% of people are engaged at their work. They're promoted, they're passionate, they're motivated, they're the promoter at their work. They've also found about 52% of people are just kind of there. They're doing what they need to do to get the job done, to move on for all different reasons. They're there to do it. And the rest, 15%, are actively disengaged. They're outwardly negative. They're unhappy with their work. And so how does this, really impact financially in companies? And this is overall the U.S. The Gallup estimates that just about $480-600 billion a year is lost in productivity of employees that are disengaged. And that's just lost in productivity. We talked about other aspects of quality, of turnover, of safety. Everything else plays into impact. So when you add those guys into it, it can really, the cost can really skyrocket. And that's not just an impact on big businesses, it's really in the small and medium enterprises where it really hurts a lot. Now, tying back to the gentleman that I ran across at that little hardware store is a really interesting thing, because that part was only $12 that he sent, or that he sold me. But because of that experience I had with him, I knew over the last couple of years that I had to get parts for him. I went back to that store and I spent a couple $100 for that, in that store, just in the different items that I knew, because I knew they took care of me. I wanted to kind of give them the first chance next time I had some problems. I ran across an actively disengaged employee, someone very unhappy. Chances are I wouldn't have gone back. I would have just gone to the box store and let it be that. So it really plays a huge part into, engagement levels into the success of all businesses. And so really that comes down to, well, if it's that important, if the cost of disengagement is so high, then why don't companies specifically say employee engagement policies? Why don't they say employees must remain actively engaged in their work at all times? That would be simple enough, but really, it doesn't really work all that well. It's not really an HR mandate or ability to do that, because in the end result, the employee engagement is really a psychological contract that an employee creates and holds with their employer. So really, it's that connection that the employee has with their employer. Companies can put all different policies on, like no absenteeism, number of times you can miss work or be late, or employee well-being programs, everything else like that. But at the end result, it's that employee's connection that they want to commit further of themselves to that company, and that really is held within that individual employee. The interesting thing from there is so when you want to look at it a little bit further, what's the number one influential factor for that employee's psychological contract, like how they hold it? What's that biggest factor? And really a lot of studies and everything shows that it's the interaction with their direct supervisor. And that's where it's leading into the book that I ended up writing. It's kind of a fascinating topic to me, because really this interacts, how that employee and supervisor are interacting really creates that level, that atmosphere for engagement or not engagement. It can either, help it, or it can either take away from it. And the reason that is such a big factor between the employee and the supervisor is because it is based off the premise of the social exchange theory. So the social exchange theory is really the amount of benefits that people get in exchange in their interactions. So it's all their positive interactions. And this is kind of some, very simple breakdown of it, but it's all their positive interactions that they have with that individual. Really, then minus the negative interactions. This is happening over periods of time. It can be simple negative interactions of saying good morning to somebody and they don't respond back and they walk right past you. Or positive is always there to help, always there to kind of a safe place to create, to bounce ideas off of. And in the end, what does that all kind of outcome for the social exchange theory? What the psychological contract is based about is it's developing trust. Trust between the two people. Trust, and this exchange isn't just about supervisor, it's about, connection between everybody. That's really how trust ends up developing. If you have so many negative interactions, if you take it to, like a bank and have all these positives as in the positive balance and all the negatives take away, well, soon if you have a negative balance, you're not going to really trust that person too well. And so this is a building of trust. And so when there is that focus of building trust between people, not just supervisors and employees, but everybody, it's just that building of trust really within a department, within an environment, you end up creating an atmosphere of psychological safety. That's where people know that they have each other's back, or we're, in this case, a supervisor, you know, that employee can kind of go out on a limb, and that supervisor will be there to help them if they, you know, are having an idea or they have a mistake or something like that. And what the psychological safety is, you know, and further is that employees feel comfortable in taking risks without fear of retribution. You know, that they know that an error, a mistake happened. It's okay. It's not the end of their job. Their manager, their supervisor is going to help them figure it out. They can challenge the status quo. They can say, "Hey, this doesn't look right. We need to figure it out." You know, because they'll have that support, and they can, you know, and that really starts to increase the creativity and being comfortable in expressing ideas. And when that really gets going and happens, that's where you increase engagement levels, or you can have a environment that engagement levels will be able to be fostered and developed. So the next part of that is you have an area of increasing engagement. So is that over a whole organization? You know, where does that take place? Well, the real fascinating thing is that the connection between psychological safety and organizations is that, or the way that companies operate, is that pockets can exist on all sides of the spectrum. Meaning you can have a company that, you know, is kind of poorly, falteringly run, you know, having a lot of issues, but you have that one supervisor that really engages their employees, and that can really make a difference, you know, or that manager that creates kind of like this umbrella of safety of like, I got everybody's back. We'll take care of and get through all the work that needs to be done. You know, and that can really create this psychological safety little atmosphere in a big situation that's not really going right. On the other hand, you can also have a section where a company is greatly ran, has a great positive culture, has, you know, all the great aspects for employee well-being and safety and everything else, and then you have a manager that just kind of decimates the morale of everybody that's under them, or that creates this unsafe area for their direct connections. And that's where, as leaders, to be, you know, to really be cognitively aware of what's going on within departments or sections or anything else, is how people are interacting with each other, how they're, you know, coming through and pulling for each other, you know, and developing, you know, seeing these pockets that could happen. Because within a, you know, say that hardware store I was at, you know, it is a good family culture, good everything, but the sales team is just is lost. They don't feel safe and say anything. They're pressed for whatever. Then that one interaction couldn't, you know, if it was negative, wouldn't have been a reflection of the whole company, but it would have reflected on me, you know, as a customer and moving forward. So it's this is, you know, more of, you know, awareness of everything within a company. So it really comes down to the engagement and the psychological safety. It comes down to everybody's responsibility and everybody's ability to participate in it. So my story that I ended up writing is a short story to provide a valuable message between the psychological safety and turnover. You know, it follows characters as they try to explore the causes and impacts of that workplace, you know, of creating that psychological unsafe workplace. So it really, I liked it. I liked writing it. It was fun, and I like talking about these topics. And you know, there's a lot more to discuss about it, and I know I kind of went a little bit fast through it all. But that's kind of my take on engagement levels and how it connects within a company. But that's all I have for my presentation, and I'm open for any questions or thoughts.
All right. Do we have any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
First of all, Kurt, I want to thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge and experience with us and a little bit about your book. And as Lions, we are an organization, and all of the things that you say sometimes happens in our volunteer organization. So, you know, as we listen to you, I can see, you know, how much we could relate to that. And it all comes back to service, which is what we do best. So serving others, but also just within our structure, in our leadership levels, our communication levels, all of those things with our Lions organization. So I think we could actually apply this concept and understanding just to our volunteer organization too. Most of us, or many of us, are retired, but there are some still working Lions in this group. So hopefully they can appreciate that impact as well.
That's great to hear, and thank you. And you know, a lot of it too, it comes down to being aware of how you're interacting with somebody. You know, especially as you take in a volunteer service atmosphere. You know, you're giving your time, volunteering your time, and you don't want to be in a place where it's not appreciated or that somebody's taking advantage of it. So it's really, but sometimes you may not know that that's happening, you know, so it's kind of being aware of how you're interacting, not just how somebody else is doing, but how you are with someone else.
Okay, Ken?
Yeah, Kurt and Marilyn, thank you for having Kurt come on. Kurt, what a terrific presentation. If we stop and take a look at what you were talking about, we have the North American Membership Initiative taking place within our Lions organization right now. And 80% of what you're talking about fits right into what we need to know how to correct the problems we have in Lions. I would really strongly suggest that you get together with our current and future District G Lions and come up with a program to present to us where this will help us through the situations you're talking about, especially the positivity where we need to look ahead for tomorrow. And who's going to be our leaders tomorrow? If we can't have unity and trust that you're talking about, we're going to still be scraping for leaders in our future. Fantastic program. Change the name from business to members. And you got a great program that you present to Lions International. I think you'd be very successful with it. But thank you. A lot of good information on what to look for and what to correct as we move along. I only suggest you get in touch with our present District G leaders and make a difference. Thank you very much for today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Marilyn?
I appreciate that.
Also, Kurt, you probably haven't had too much exposure to Lions, but our Longview Pioneer Lions is particularly a large organization. We are 165, Greg?
68.
About strong.
171 now.
71 members. It's a small pittance on our Zoom meetings, but at least we're holding ourselves together. I wanted to share with you that when people come to our regular club meetings, we offer up an application to join our club. And we invite you to consider that. And also, I have a beer mug that I will deliver probably via our daughter Stephanie. Say thank you. It's a wonderful mug. It can be used for beer, hot coffee, all kinds of things, hot chocolate. It's a great mug. It says Longview Pioneer Lions. So thank you so much. We'll put an application in it just for good.
That sounds good. I appreciate that. And, you know, I appreciate too in what you guys do for our community here. I mean, my boys love the popcorn that I pick up, you know, and all the other spots. So, you know, at the events and everything else. So we definitely appreciate what you all are doing for our community here.
Any other questions? Cheryl? Unmute. Cheryl, we can't hear you. No, we still can't hear you. says mute, so. Yeah. I can't. Okay, I don't know. Okay. I guess Cheryl's having some.
Can you unmute her?
I can't unmute her. I tried.
Okay.
Uh,
How about a chat box? Could she type it in?
well, she could. No,
She said no.
Gina?
Well, I just wanted to thank Kurt for putting this into easy-to-use form or format. I can remember being a young supervisor, and I felt these things. I felt that it was important for me to engage with my employees every day. And I have one story. I had this particularly grumpy old guy who never had anything good to say, he grunted. He did not talk to people. And I made it my mission. Every morning I would say hello. Whenever I saw him in the lunchroom, I would say hello. And I made it my mission to be warm and encouraging to him. And I knew after that, when he came to my department to repair something, he was a maintenance person. When he came to my department to repair something, I knew that he would do it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And so I knew these things worked. I just didn't have the eloquence that you have to put them into words. So, I think that anybody who supervises people should pick up a copy of your book.
Yeah, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
We're still friends, though.
I think we can hear you.
I for some reason, my computer defaulted to the wrong speaker system. So can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to say that we as Lions often among ourselves focus on the projects and the things we do that are important. And we sometimes forget that no matter what we're doing, there's lots of people out there in the community that know that we're Lions. So we're always ambassadors. And so our enthusiasm when we're out and around and talking to people, especially when we're talking about Lions at any time, reflects on us as Lions. And we need to remember that enthusiasm for our organization is contagious. And we will attract a lot more people to want to know more about our organization and about what we do and about us as individuals if we show that enthusiasm when we're out and around.
Nice. All right, thank you. That's right. Okay, any other questions or comments? Well, thank you, Kurt, very much for giving up your time today to present us.
Well, I appreciate being on and you guys having me. So hope you all have a great day, and I'm open for connection, and I'll look for other interactions here. I appreciate the feedback and everything else.
All right, and Dwayne, he wants a copy. So Dwayne will get you a copy.
All right. I'll log off now. You all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you so much. Bye now.
Okay, Gina wants to have a awards meeting. So awards people stay on. Oh, Greg?
I just have one comment. Gina, you're taking your daughter to get a tattoo. You might check with Lloyd. He has tattoos. He has one on his left hand, there's an L, and one on his right hand, it's an R.
Okay. I think she's got that figured out.
He's traumatized when he looks in the mirror, though.
I talked him out of that tattoo. I just told him just to hold his hands up like this, and that makes an L. That's what's left.
Hey,
Louie. Well, I just want to take a moment here and get serious. We've been talking about all the great things we need to do to keep our members stimulated. And my motto this year, of course, is Roar with Gusto, and that's what I intended to do. However, most of the clubs have been sequestered and have not been having meetings. And our meetings are probably more lively than the ones I've been to. But our district over this last pandemic year, for the last physical years, since last March and around to now, which has been about a year, our district has lost over 200 Lions. and it's really hurt the district. And I know that Ken has made comments that make sense when he says that it's very difficult for us to get out and find new members because we're not having projects and we're not having club meetings. So it's really hard to show them what we do. But one of the things we can do to help the district, and this is a drive that Dolly came with, is that we're looking internally because we know that a lot of us have spouses or significant others that aren't involved in our club. And this would be a great time internally to bring them in. If we can get all the clubs to do that, we can keep our strength back up to the point where we will be registered as a full district. Right now, we're 78 below what LCI determines as being a qualified district. And if we don't turn that around pretty soon, they're talking about the possibility of combining districts together from 2 to 1 to make up the difference. This is just talk at this point, and hopefully we can turn that around with our NAMI project and other things that we're doing. So seriously, take a look at your spouse or your significant other and say, why aren't you aligned? It's really easy to do. There are no induction fees, and there's even a discount on the dues. So it's a great time to do it. It's inexpensive, and it really help us out. We're going to be pushing this throughout the district, and opportunity hopefully to get things turned over in June. She'll have a full district to work with and not have to spend a lot of time trying to do a lot of recruiting. So it's a great time for us, and I appreciate your help on this. There's already a couple of Lions that have told me that they would be willing to do that. If you look around, think about it. It's a great way to build our clubs. So thank you very much.
All right. So Cindy?
I have a couple announcements if I could.
Okay.
First of all, the meeting for Zone 6 was scheduled for last night, has been rescheduled to tomorrow night, and I'll send out a reminder tomorrow night if you want to join that.
You already have something tomorrow night?
It's the Zone 6 meeting. Yes?
What happened was that there were 2 zone meetings scheduled at the same time. Zone 2 is having their meeting tonight. And so Zone 6 moved their meeting over one more night to Wednesday. There'll be one tonight and one tomorrow night for those 2 zones.
Okay.
So that's the reason for it.
And then tonight there's a meeting, a zone meeting with Surrey, Canada. So that ought to be at 7 o'clock. It's in your newsletter, the link there. And let's see. And we had a board meeting last week, a special one. Did someone take notes for that? And if they did, could you send it to me? I need to know who attended that special board meeting and what was the motion and what was passed. Does anybody? I looked at the last week's meeting, but it didn't have the special meeting, so I couldn't take notes on it.
Okay, that was
the meeting tonight in Surrey is they're going to install 3 new members of the club across the river from them. We've been invited to join the Surrey group as we initiate 3 new members in a club up in Canada.
Yeah, I know some people up there, so.
Thank you.
So, Cindy, that a little board meeting after the regular meeting was to bring in 2 new members. The
Correct.
Applications that I sent you.
But I need to know who was there and the names and the motion. So, down in paper. If someone could do that for me.
Okay.
Cindy, I got a question.
Because I have to get it into the minutes so that it can be approved. Pardon?
Okay. Lloyd?
Okay.
I got a question for Cindy.
What else do I have?
Cindy,
Yes.
I think we have to maybe possibly get a new Lions list of all the members. And there's some people dropped out because
They're on.
Where do I get one?
You can get the list. You go to LCI to members, and you can Get that list. I'll show you where. I can come over and show you where to get that because you need to update every once in a while.
Okay.
Right.
Nothing else.
And then the international conference is this June, and it's going to be a Zoom one. This is a great opportunity for all of us that really can't go to an international to be able to attend one. I don't know if they'll do Zooms from now on, but this is a great chance to be able to attend one. It's was it $50 before? It's in the newsletter. It's $50 before March 31st, and it's $75 in April. So it's a great opportunity, and it's costs hardly anything, and you get to enjoy it from your living room. So I want to put that out there for you. And then our spring conference, I see there's information starting to come out. So plan that for May 7th and 8th. Means what the world will, yes.
Just so you know that we've just determined that's going to be going on Zoom as well. So it'll be a virtual conference.
You heard it first from Doug.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Doug.
Okay.
I know you're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have.